Hello friends and followers, this is episode 29, 28th of August 2017. I hope everyone's been well since the last episode. It's slowly warming up here, we're heading towards summer, so it's probably getting colder in the other parts of the world. This will be my 90th video upload when it's complete. So we're getting up to the 100, and we're in the month 10. In this episode I'll be covering what is God, and faith and aliens and the universe and everything else in between to do with religion and the idea of having a God. So it should be an interesting fact-finding mission here and see how everybody in the world copes with this topic. I will be first of all covering about aliens and what we may know about them and whether they are angels or demons or actually creatures like ourselves and what they believe in. Many people believe that God created the universe from a Big Bang and from an initial spark that exploded out elements into the thing we call the universe, and it instantly grew into the universe, not like a normal explosion as it expands, and they still believe it's expanding. Some believe aliens created the universe and us and our planet and seeded our planet with DNA, and also some believe that life from other planets drifted across space, called panspermia, and landed on our planet and developed life here. The universe is so great and huge, vast amounts of space and galaxies and stars out there, that it's hard for the human brain to even comprehend. Its radius is 47 billion light years across. Can't even imagine it. Speed of light is very fast, as you know, and imagine it travelling for a year and times 47. That's just the radius. We're not talking about the diameter here, so it's double that again for the complete size. But even that's guesswork. Some people reckon that the universe is infinite in size, but people can't comprehend a universe being infinite. So the Big Bang was developed, and that's a finite universe where it started and grows to a size, and then they reckon it will start reversing direction and contracting back down after it's pulled all the atoms apart into bits, which I don't believe. But it's a theory that some believe. They believe there's over 100 million galaxies in our universe. Just imagine life being on one planet in a galaxy, let alone there being life in all galaxies. It's hard to imagine. And the distances are so vast that they would have to be around a lot longer than humans and develop their technology and science beyond ours to be able to cross that bridge of great vast space. So what do aliens believe God is? Well, according to some whistleblowers, that they believe in the universe being a supreme being, rather than the being creating the universe. It is the universe. Now, some humans believe this theory as well, and it's got given a name called pantheism, and here's some information about it here. Some call it Mother Nature or nature, where everything is organized in mathematics and fractal patterns and has a relationship with each other, and it's all around us. God is all around us, which I kind of like that theory myself. If I was going to believe in a God, that would make the most sense to me, is the universe being the supreme being itself. So how do we know what aliens think? Well, Some abductees or contactees or experiencers, as some like to be called different things, claim that they asked and were told what the aliens believe in. Most of the time they're not really interested in what humans believe in, according to that abduction episode I did. And here are some cases of abductees, some famous cases that you may not have heard of, or may have heard of. A man reported to a newspaper of his experience with alien abductors. Among his eyebrow-raising revelations is the claim that the universe was not created by the Big Bang, instead insisting that the aliens revealed the true origins of all life, a godlike being known as the One. What's more is also he claims that aliens are able to telepathically communicate with one another and are capable of speaking wordlessly by sending brainwaves through space. So there you go. So that's one account of abductee. Then we come to this guy, Kira-san. I won't try and pronounce his last name. Former president of the only Buddhist political state, with avidly claims that he was once kidnapped by creatures not of this world. He says they abducted him off his apartment balcony and took him to their spaceship. Yeah, I was taken from my balcony in Moscow to this spaceship, and we went to some star. After I asked, please bring me back home, because the next day I should be back in Kalnoskaya, I don't know, and said, oh no problem, Kirsten, you'll have time. When pressed for details of aliens themselves, they are people like us, they have the same mind, the same vision. I talked with them. I understand that we are not alone in the whole world, and we are not unique. The ship was absolutely enormous. One of its chambers was the size of a large football pitch. We landed on one of the planets and picked up some piece of equipment. They told me everything in detail. Allegedly, while he was abducted, his staff came looking for him and was unable to locate him until he appeared in his suit hours later, where they had already searched. So there you go. So maybe it's not all make-believe or mental disorder there. Now we come to the most famous abduction cases. The Manhattan abduction. Linda triggered one of the most well-documented UFO abduction cases when she claimed to have been kidnapped out the window of her Manhattan apartment building by a flying saucer. Linda describes her time with the aliens. I'm standing up on nothing and they take me out all the way up, way above the building. Oh, I hope I don't fall. The UFO opens up almost like a clam, and then I'm inside. I see benches similar to rectangular benches, and they are bringing me down in a hallway. Doors open up like sliding doors. Inside are all these lights and buttons and a big long table. I don't want to get up on the table. They get me on the table. Anyway, they start saying things to me, and I'm yelling. I can still yell. One of them says something that sounds like Nubiag. I think they were trying to tell me to be quiet because he put his hand over my mouth. Her abduction story has been corroborated by 2 United Nations bodyguards who claim to have seen exactly the scene that Linda describes. There was an oval-shaped object hovering over the top of the apartment building 2 or 3 blocks up from where we sat. We didn't know where it came from. It happened too fast. Its lights turned from a bright reddish orange to a whitish blue coming out of the bottom. Green lights rotated round the edge of the saucer. A little girl or woman wearing a white gown sailed out of a window in a fetal position and then stood in midair in the beam of light. I could see 3 of the ugliest creatures I've ever saw. I don't know what they were. They weren't human. Their heads were out of proportion, very large heads with no hair. Those buggers were escorting her into the craft. My partner screamed, "We have got to get them." We tried to get out of the car but couldn't. After the woman was escorted in, the oval turned reddish orange again and whisked off. And years later, in 2001, the photo was taken at Linda's apartment. The aliens might have been visiting to check on her, and there's a little white black dot there, which could also be just a bug passing the camera lens, or some balloon or something like that. It's too far away and too small to make any details there. So the alien said to the abductee that the Big Bang was wrong. So is there any proof that the Big Bang is wrong? Sure is. Here's a collection of things to have a read off. I won't go through them all. But mainly redshift is questionable. They've had galaxies that don't match up, and also it says here about the lithium atom that the isotope don't match the quantities that should be since the Big Bang, and the list goes on, and you can have a read of all those there. It's a bit scientific and involved in some of the debates, and also dark matter. They need dark matter to make it work, and still they haven't managed to find it or prove the existence of dark matter. Maybe because it's too hard to find, or simply it doesn't exist. And I sort of covered that in the Tesla episode I did. As you can see, there's some fighting with Stephen Hawking over his maths, and the inflation theory is wrong, and new data has come in which proves it, and Hawking and 33 other scientists disagree, and so on. So yeah, on TV, even on TV documentaries, they talk about the Big Bang being a matter of fact rather than being a theory. And there's plenty of other theories on how the universe started out there, but people don't pay any attention to them, because to get funding you've got to believe in the Big Bang, and you've got to study the mathematics and the science of trying to prove the Big Bang. So there's always going to be conflicts and disagreements between the scientists themselves, and not just between the religions and religion and science. It's never ending. So could our science be corrupted? Sure can. Can we all be wrong? Yes, we can. Lots of things to still work out. And here are some examples of fractal mass in nature all around us, from leaves to trees to plants to veins in our body, crystals. You may not know, but all metals are crystals, and copper crystal here, and also you've got electric current forms fractal patterns. So this lends to the universe being God, that his mathematics are all around us that create nature, marvelous structures. So what is a fractal? It's like a repeated pattern that sort of goes to infinity, and it just keeps the same dimensions as it keeps going bigger and smaller. And you can see the repeating patterns in these natural plants. Nature has a way of working out the most efficient way to conserve energy and take the shortest route always. Before we leave the Big Bang theory, did you know it was theorized by a Catholic priest? Hey presto, there's a link that the universe had to be created by a extreme being called God. No surprise there. And scientists have cottoned on to the idea and tried to prove it ever since. Also, you may have heard about CERN, trying to prove God particle and other particles within the atom structure and work out how it's made and works, and whether there's some new particles there called antimatter and supersymmetry. And one of the people that work there is this famous Brian Cox that's on UK documentaries. They're saying here that he's not anti-religious, but he's anti-maniac, meaning that he doesn't believe in a lot of the Christian or Muslim beliefs about how old the earth is, like 6,000 years old. And he says he doesn't think about religion until someone asks him about it. But I think if you believe the universe started from a big bang, then really you have some idea that you believe there is a God, but not necessarily believe in a particular religion. Humans might not be the only ones that think about God. How about bacteria? We have 100 trillion in our body. We are a living organism. We're not just one, we are many. And also there's mites, and I covered that in Aliens Among Us episode, if you want to go and watch that. They may also look at the human being as God. So everybody has a God in some respect, and they might have small brains, but you don't know if they think. How many brain cells do you need to be able to be comprehending stuff? And do bacteria even think? How do viruses that know how to infiltrate cells and evolve to be able to break down defences each year and beat our antibiotics? There's a lot more to understand about DNA and how it all works and how information is transferred and stored and passed on. Maybe there's more to it than just chemicals and atoms, and maybe that's another link to a theory that there's got to be a supreme being called God out there that organised it all. But always the question is, why does God let disasters happen and people suffer and die and kids die early and people get cancer? Is it all part of his big plan? A lot of people would say that's not God, but it's the devil doing it. So that'll bring us on to the next subject about religions, about how they see aliens and God. And then you got bad bacteria that makes us sick and kills us, and then you got good bacteria that makes us live and coexists with us and helps us digest and all those things that we need. So good and evil we're going, devil and angels. So they say that you're more likely to believe in aliens if you're atheist or Muslim. Study reveals how religion affects your likelihood of believing in ET. A study in it reveals that 55% of atheists believe aliens exist, while 44% of Muslims believe, and 37% of Jews think that life is out there. Around 30% of Christians believe in aliens as well as divine beings. And here some people believe that aliens are the gods. So yet another viewpoint. And how does that relate to demons and angels? We'll have a look at that now. And here's another survey saying that more people believe in aliens and ghosts than God, with 55% believe in ghosts, 51% believe in aliens, 42% UFOs, 27% angels, and only 25% in God. With kids it's higher percentages. 64% of kids believe in aliens, and the same number believe in ghosts, and 50% believe in UFOs. So if that's the case, it's about time the US government come clean about aliens visiting Earth or living on Earth if it's such the case, so people can know before they die that there's more to life and the universe than we know. So Vatican, the Catholic Church, Pope, have made it clear that believing in aliens is okay, and God made them as well, and it shouldn't affect the religion at all if they come in contact. However, with the Christian faith, it's not such clear cut, and there's a lot of debate and anger over it, saying that the Christian Bible never talks about aliens being in it. And you can see here there's some anger referring to aliens as helping mankind, and being angels or angelic is wrong. And the debate about fallen angels referring to aliens coming down to Earth. On a Christian site, the question is, if aliens were proved to exist, how would the discovery impact the Christian faith? And the answer they gave: we do not believe that aliens exist. The Bible gave us no reason to believe that there is life elsewhere in the universe. In fact, the Bible gives us several key reasons why there cannot be. Let me start by saying that the Bible says nothing about aliens at all. Christians are free to believe in them or not believe in them as they see fit. As you can see, there's a lot of conflict in the Christian belief system there. And as this article here says, the two groups of those that believe in aliens and those that believe in God sometimes don't like to be lumped together. But it says here many Christians believe in life elsewhere in the universe, and some believe that there's bits in the Bible that actually points to alien visitations, which you've probably seen on Ancient Alien type TV series, and also various books out there, and also various chats and blogs. 10 reasons why it's true that aliens are fallen angels or demons. Aliens of our time match the demons and fallen angels mentioned in the Bible in terms of their behavior. Like the Bible predicts, aliens never affirm the deity of Christ, nor do they claim to come in his name. Aliens change their stories to delude man into believing their lies. One example of this is that before man had been to outer space or sent satellites there, aliens would claim to be from planets such as Jupiter in our solar system. As time went on and man learned about our planets, we realized that no one could live on a planet like Jupiter. So aliens changed their story. Now they claim to be from other solar systems and star clusters such as Andromeda. Though aliens are said to be advanced, it seems they need us for their survival, just as fallen angels need human beings to prey on. There are various accounts of aliens taking tissue samples from humans, probing them, or impregnating women. This is the origin of the entities known as incubus and succubus. Alien abductions are stopped by invoking the name of Jesus. Aliens bring ideas to Earth that will help man unite worldwide for a new era of consciousness. This unity prepares the way for their leader, who is possibly the Antichrist, by making mankind forget their religion and loyalty to their countries. Aliens often contact New Agers and occultists as opposed to Christians. This is not always the case, since people from all walks of life have been contacted by aliens. So there you go. This guy has summed up what he believes. Aliens are not good and false prophets or false entities. This is quite different for the Muslim faith. In the Quran, A couple of people have pointed out verses and talked about it in English here, which you can read yourself, pause it and have a read. Basically it's saying there's a lot of evidence in the Quran that extraterrestrial life does exist out there in the universe, and 7 Earth-like planets and 7 layers, and it talks also about angels and demons and how it relates to aliens, whether they are creatures. So yeah, some interesting reading there, but I won't go through it because I need to wrap up this episode as it's getting a bit long now. Now to go back to panspermia, they've done some tests in space on bacteria, spores, lichens, and to see how long they last, if at all, and whether there are ways that bacteria could live inside a asteroid frozen and survive the radiation of space and travel great distances. And they have proven that life is very resilient and can in fact travel space, even the organisms from Earth. So if the alien life out there may even be more resistant. Here they say belief in God is linked to activity in the brain's frontal cortex. Disrupting the brain's problem-solving center changes the way we think about ideology. So they've done various studies on the brain and noticed that brain injury can make you more religious or more accepting of God, and also they've done some experiments with magnetic interference by putting it next to the skull and changing your perspective on things, that you see light tunnels and see God come to you or Jesus talk to you in your visions, and experimenting in university labs. Also that brings us to Richard Dawkins. He talks about the God delusion. He's got a book out about it, how the human culture that is wired to believe in God. I suppose some people have to believe in God else they go crazy. And there are crazy people that believe in God regardless. So you can't win. So God is a personal thing, and it's up to you whether what you decide to follow in life. As long as you're a good person and don't hurt others, that's the main thing. And I'll leave it there, and if you liked the episode, hit the like button on the way out, and if you're not a member, subscribe, and I'll see you again next episode, people. Take care.